second question, basically, because in one of the YouTube videos of the so-called speaker corners scholars, one of them said, what did the Shia contribute to Islam in history? Yani we as Ahl Sunnah, our Khalifas, we conquered the lands and we expanded Islam. But what did the Shia contribute? And I wanted to go further in on this. What did the Ahl al-Bayt, alayhim salam, and specifically the scholars after them, contribute to the existence and the teachings of the Quran? You basically answered it, but could you...
No, I want to talk about this. And I want to say this claim. And I know this might upset some of my good friends outside the school of Ahl al-Bayt. But please, I want you to listen with an open heart and go and do your own research. Don't take my word as, the final verdict. Just go and do your own research. I want to say that without the contribution of Ahl al-Bayt, who are the Imams of the Shia, Imams of all Muslims, but we say Ahl al-Bayt only. Ahl al-Bayt and the Sahaba who followed the Ahl al-Bayt. We respect them, we revere them.
Yes.
Without them, you will not have Islam. And I will just give me a moment. Islam expanded to all over the world. From China to Morocco. Okay? People were converting to Islam. New advents, new situations, new circumstances, new laws. Okay. How do they make laws? Is smoking haram or halal? Is, for example, anything that happened, new ideas, the Greek philosophy was infiltrating into Islam, and people had no idea because Islam was only conquering land, taking booties of war, and expanding an empire. By the way, that's not what Allah wanted. When did Rasulullah said, I want to turn this into an empire? I want you to go and conquer land. I want you to take people as prisoners of war. So Ahl al-Bayt oppose that, and we oppose it as well. So that's not a service you did to Islam. That's a service to many people who were becoming very wealthy. At some given point, the so-called Khalifa had more than 20,000 concubines. 20,000! Innocent people, they were taken from their land.
From their land.
Okay? Now, Ahl al-Bayt, there was an X on them. They were cancelled. There was cancelled culture. Okay? So they could not speak. At the decline of Bani Umayyah, before the rise of Bani Abbas, Imam Baqir actually taught people how to do tafsir. What is tafsir al-Quran? They had no idea what is tafsir al-Quran. How do you derive laws from the Quran? How do you understand the laws from the Quran? What is ilm al-hadith? Imam al-Baqir taught about hadith. Imam al-Baqir was the founder of the very first seminary of Islam. And that is why he's called al-Baqir. Baqar al-ilm. He opened, ilm was all closed up. Imam al-Baqir opened it up. Then Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam came. Today, if you know the real Tawheed, it's because of Imam al-Sadiq. Yeah, there are people who think they know Tawheed. It's not Tawheed. If you want to know Tawheed as it is in Islam, one of his companions, Al-Mufaddal ibn Umair, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq taught him Tawheed. Go read Tawheed al-Mufaddal. You will know Tawheed. Imam al-Baqir taught people what happens when one hadith contradicts another hadith. Imam al-Sadiq taught them what happens when you have, one ayah that may seem like it is going against another ayah. He talked about the nasikh wal mansukh. He talked about ulum al-Quran. Imam al-Sadiq taught them the process of deriving law, also known as ijtihad. To them, ijtihad was making up a rule that was ijtihad muqabil al-nas. You have an ayah, you have a hadith, but they don't know the ayah, they don't know the hadith, so they just make an opinion from their own. That's why the Imam said this ijtihad is batil. Ijtihad is when you derive the laws from their sources. So, all the Muslims today that know tafsir, and know hadith, and know ijtihad, and know any Islamic science, it's because of Imam al-Baqir and Imam Sadiq, and they are indebted to them. And any scholar that they find in the four schools of thought, and at those four schools of thought is a new innovation.
Yeah.
At some time there was like 30 schools, 30 madahib, 60 madahib. All of them were the students of Imam al-Baqir, Imam al-Sadiq, and the students of Imam al-Baqir and Imam al-Sadiq.
Wow.
Many of the scholars in Egypt today are the students of one of the students of Imam al-Sadiq, who happened to be a woman, as-Sayyida Nafisa bint al-Hasan al-Abjal, who is buried in Qahira.
Wow.
So you see, the Ahl al-Bayt, without them you have nothing today. Also, not just the Muslims. Today, every human being going to high school has to study algebra. That's Jabir ibn Hayyan.
Yeah.
You have to study chemistry. You have to study the different sciences that even medicine.
Yeah.
A lot of it came from Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam. That's why the government, the political system said, if you give those guys, the Ahl al-Bayt, as Yazid said, كبيرهم لا يقاس وصغيرهم جمرة لا تداس. Their adults are not in comparison to any other human being. And their youth are like a charcoal lit on fire. You cannot hold on to them.
Wow.
They will burn you.
Wow.
That's what Yazid said about Imam Zayn al-Abidin. And that is true. You cannot compare the Ahl al-Bayt to anybody else. So the government saw Imam Baqir and Imam al-Sadiq and how much they did, and the fact that they changed the course of history. They put Imam Musa ibn Ja'far, his son, where? Prison. Ahl al-Bayt were silenced again. If you want to know Islam, you have to go to the Ahl al-Bayt. Why were the books of the Ahl al-Bayt burned down? Why were their libraries burned down? You tell me that their books and what they were saying are worse than some of the hadiths that you find and some of the so-called sihah that attribute a physical appearance to God and attribute sins to prophets, including Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So you bring those in your books, but you leave Ja'far al-Sadiq and Muhammad al-Baqir and Ali ibn Musa al-Rida and Muhammad al-Jawad.
Wow.
So inshallah, there will be some free men who call themselves Muslim, who want to follow the teachings of Islam, that will go and do their own research and think, see things for themselves. So again, what did the Muslims attribute? I would say everything. What did the Shia and the Ahl al-Bayt? Everything. But you just have to go and search. But I'm guessing this guy is not a researcher.
No, he's definitely not. He's a so-called Speaker's Corner scholars. And how do we, Sayyidina, integrate this Quran, this beautiful book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where Allah speaks to us and tells us the stories of the prophets and teaches us the lessons and where to focus on? How do we integrate this in our day-to-day lives to benefit from it? And why do we not pick